Okay, for today's how-to, we are going to show you how to change a rear tire on a sport bike. Now this is a 2001 Honda F4i. It's pretty universal, other than it may change a smidge how the brake caliper is mounted, etc. That's up to you to figure out. But for the most part, this is going to be relatively the same. So let's get started with today's how-to. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we want to take brake caliper off. Just so you can get the tire out. Now, with mine I have two. This is a special setup. Most bikes only have one. This second one back here is not supposed to really be here. So what you want to do, in this case, these are 12mm bolts. So we just want to remove those. Now I'm going to use an impact here. You can use a wrench, whatever, doesn't matter. A socket. It's not really a big deal. You can use whatever. So we're just gonna take that out, set that bolt down. Now all you want to do is just kind of lift up, and now the front pin is a slider, so you can just slide it out, and we'll just kind of lay this over the exhaust here. Make sure your exhaust isn't hot so you're not burning through your brake line. And then I'll just remove this other one here. Lay that bolt down. Sometimes they jam up. You'll have to get a screwdriver to get them off. I got this one, so we're good. Okay, cool. And brake calipers are off. Okay, next thing we're going to want to do is remove the axle nut. So I'm going to use an impact on this. Like, again, you can use hand tools, but I like to use the power tool. It makes it go a little faster, especially for removal. Putting it back on, not so much, but removal, yes. So let's take that off. Okay, so now that the axle bolt's out, we're just going to take our soft dead blow hammer here and lightly tap on the axle here until we get it to pop out. And then we'll just pull it out and hold the tire because the wheel is going to drop. First thing we're going to do now that the wheel's dropped, take the chain, slowly just unpeel it off of the sprocket, and on the other side, we're just going to take the brake caliper bracket off, and then we're just going to roll the tire back out of the bike. Okay, so before we can break the bead on this, we got to get the rest of the air out of it. So you're going to want to take a valve core remover, which you can get at Meyer or any like Walmart or auto parts store. You're just going to put it in here. You're going to take the valve core out. You can hear it leaking. And when you pull it all the way out, if it comes all the way out here, there we go. Now all the air will come out of the tire, so the tire will be completely flat for you. All right, next step, we're gonna wanna break the bead. Basically what that means is you gotta put something between the rim and the tire here and press down, and it'll pop the bead off. That's what keeps the air in the tire. Now you can buy tools at like Harbor Freight or from lots of different motorcycle stores that you can use to press on it. I don't have any of those. I use the old trick of a round point shovel, and I put a shirt in here just to kind of keep everything nice-ish, I guess you'd say. So now when you put the round point, you want to put the tip, like I said, between the rim and the tire, and then you're going to want to jump on it. So I'll show you how we do that. Alright, got my trusty shovel, got the tire here. I can feel right there. Make sure whatever you're using between the shovel and the tire to try to keep it nice, it's something you don't like, because you will poke holes in it with the shovel. Once you feel it actually pop off, then you just want to kind of press on it with your foot. You should be able to start folding the tire in a little bit, which is good because that means your bead's loose. So then we just flip it over and do the other side. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to start peeling the tire off. So you just pick a side, make sure you have tire spoons. You can do it with screwdrivers, but there's a high chance you're going to scratch something. So make sure you have tire spoons. 3 of them is the best number. Now they do sell a bead protector, which are some plastic pieces that'll go on your rim and will protect it from the spoons scratching it at all. I don't care that much about my stuff, so I just do it with them without any bead protectors or anything. But that's definitely something to look up. I use Motion Pro spoons, so if you know, you guys are looking, these things are really, really good for this. So let's get to doing this. Okay, so basically what we're gonna do here, we're gonna pick a spot, any spot, take our first spoon, and we are just gonna peel it up here. Now, it's a good idea on the other side of the tire to press down on the bead. Try to fold the tire in half as much as you can. It's gonna give you a lot more room. Now we're just gonna take our second spoon, pick a different spot here a little further down, and peel up. And now we'll do the same thing with the third spoon. Now, it's easy right now to take big bites, but little bites are the key for doing this. So we're just gonna keep doing this, and then the farther spoon back will keep coming out. And realistically, the first side here is always pretty easy. And once you get it about halfway around, you can pull it up. And now as you can see, this whole side is loose. Okay, so now we've got the tire and wheel separated this much. So now this isn't recommended by most people, but this is how I do it. You go through the underside with the spoon here. You can start to force the tire out. Now when you do this, you're gonna get a gap like this. What you're gonna wanna do is get another spoon, and again, little bites, but just take it out. And then again, little bite, take it out. And then you're gonna wanna try to start moving one way and then the other. And what this will do is slowly peel your rim out. Now, if you're really careful, you can do this without scratching the wheel. However, it's pretty tricky to do. I've been doing this a lot of years. My wheels have looked like hell and back. But, anywho, now, wheels out, tires separate. So we can put a new one on. Okay, so one thing to notice, tires are usually directional. So you can see here, it says rear, and then boom, there's the arrow. Arrows point to the front. So we'll make sure this is spinning the correct way. So basically this is gonna spin, this will spin in this direction, is what the arrow is telling you. So make sure you put your tires on the right way, otherwise they wear really, really funky. Okay, so we're gonna make sure that the tire is going in the right direction here. And then what you're gonna wanna do is put a little lube on your bead of your tire here. So I just have some basic Simple Green, and I'm gonna spray a little bit of that all around the edge of the tire here. Get it nice and lubed up so that way it'll slide on easier. Take your hand, just wipe it on there a little bit. Now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna put the tire partway on like that. Now with this first side, what you should be able to do is with just a little bit of force, boom, first side's on. You're just that good. Now we're gonna lube the rest of it here. I'm almost out of lube. It's never good. Okay, so now we got a little bit of lube on all this. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna set one side in. What I like to do is put my knee on it. And you're just gonna start pressing around and see how far you can get it on there. Now there will come a point here, we can't really get it any farther with our hands. Take our tire spoons and we start slowly peeling her on. Now remember what I told you. If you keep the tire folded over more in the center here, it's gonna help the tire go on, and just use little bites. Now for right now, we've got it, we can use just the 2 spoons. Now what I'll do here is I'll kneel on this side of the tire too, and that's gonna help me even more. So again, we're just taking little bites here. Little bites, little bites. The farther around you can take little bites, the better. Now you're gonna come to a point here, you see we're getting pretty tight. We're gonna have to take even smaller bites. But eventually here, what'll happen is you get to a point, and see now we've got just that little bit, so force it on. All right, now we're on, but we're not out of the woods yet. All right, so the last real trick is to get this thing to take air. So first thing, you're gonna wanna reinstall your valve core, which you'll just screw it in, and eventually it'll hit a point where you'll feel some tension, and then boom, it'll stop. Do not over tighten this, you'll strip it out, you have to change your valve stem. That's not fun to do. Now, the other thing we have is, you see here where the tire looks like it's sitting way off the bead. That's not necessarily good. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna take our air hose here, and yes, I know this leaks, so before I get 100 comments about your air hose leaks, it leaks, I know. So you're gonna put it in, and we'll try blowing it up. Now, you hear all that air escaping? What that is where this isn't up against the lip of the wheel on both sides, there is air escaping from it. So, it's not allowing the air to catch and blow up. So what we're gonna need to do here is we'll flip it around to this side where it's way off on both sides. If you beat it against the ground a little bit, a lot of times it will flatten the tire. Now, the other thing you can do, there's really a couple other tricks. I'm gonna kind of lay on it here, which will force the tire to splay out and hopefully take some air. And there we go. Yes. You hear that? That means the tire is good on one side and good on the other. Those pops mean the beads have seated. Now what you're gonna wanna do is put in anywhere from 30 to 50 pounds of pressure, and that's to really seat the beads, leave it overnight, and then adjust your tire pressure to what you want. Okay, so last thing we gotta do now that we got our tire all aired up and everything is we just have to put it back on here. So we'll put our wheel spacers in, we will put our hub back on here. Make sure you put your rubber whatever they are for your hub in appropriately. Slide your hub in. Now it's real important, you want to take your brake caliper bracket and you want to kind of slide it over the brake rotor, and then you're just going to roll the whole tire in here. Make sure you get your chain on. And this is where it really gets a little tricky here. You got to keep everything together the way it should be. So once you get everything in here, crap, which I still don't have right, and there goes the wheel spacer again. This may take a few tries, guys. It is not the easiest thing to do. And you just want to slide your axle in here. And if you get stuck like I am right now, a little hammer action. Make sure you're lined up. And there we are. So to finish up, you'll just reinstall your axle nut, torque it down according to torque spec, and then reinstall your brake calipers. And then what I like to do is just give the wheel a little spin here, make sure everything looks okay, and you're good to go. Alright, so that's basically how you install and change your rear tire on a sport bike. Like I said, it'll vary a little bit, manufacturer, years, etc., bike to bike. But that's the gist of it. Biggest part is getting the rubber changed. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. If not, hopefully this helps you guys a little bit and you guys can save a little bit of money, because I know tire changes aren't the cheapest thing to do. So check back. We'll be doing some more how-tos. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And we'll see you guys next time on our next how-to.